Welcome back, and in another video about the internet computer becoming number one, Dfinity has now stepped in and upgraded the internet computer network. In today's video, we're going to be exploring what this upgrade is, what it's going to do for the internet computer, and why this is so important. We're also going to explore all of these metrics on the internet computer ecosystem to understand, is internet computer a good investment as we enter 2026, and also enter this new world of artificial intelligence integration into many different ecosystems. And so we're going to be exploring all of this and more in today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Give the video a free thumbs up because we upload every single day on this channel to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. I'm giving you guys my opinions and analysis on the market. You can disagree, that's fine, but these are my opinions. And that's it, not financial advice. Let's get into today's video, which is a massive, massive update. The internet computer delivered on what the community asked for, dedicated to making the internet computer capable of hosting more and more of the world's software. Dfinity has stepped in and increased the replicated state capacity by 100%, doubling the actual capacity of the internet computer ecosystem. The results are apps and services can now offer more storage to the tune of double. The total internet computer capacity across 47 subnets is 94, I guess those are terabits, and replicated state capacity is 2 terabits, and the upgrade has already been successful and rolled out across all the subnets, including the network nervous system, or the core of the internet computer. Now, they talk about the science, saying creation of a new storage layer, improvements of single checkpointing, development of complex strategies for hashing and merging large states, heavy performance and stress testing for massive I/O workloads using high-performance nodes, resolving all blockers, and planning for follow-up work to sustain long-term performance. Now, we're going to be getting a little bit deeper into all of these points in just a minute here. But now internet computer has more room for dApps, bigger workloads, larger scale. And so we are going to learn more about this in a video and in their Medium blog. So let's start with this video. It's called Internet Computer Doubles Subnet Storage. Replicated state is now 2 terabits. And this is one of the senior software engineers on the messaging routing team at Dfinity, which again is the main developer behind the internet computer ecosystem. So we're going to be hearing from him in this video. Again, this is on YouTube. We're going to be playing it at 1.5 speed and giving you guys my opinions and thoughts throughout. But this is really big, right? When we're talking about the internet computer and the AI capabilities of the internet computer, one of the things that I've been really talking about is how do we get every aspect of AI within the internet computer ecosystem actually on chain? Because currently the large language model Caffeine AI, which is the main kind of AI program that's currently being used on internet computer to help build programs, build dApps, and all of the other things that it can do, it's not running on chain. Now, the apps that it creates, those are hosted on chain, deployed on chain, but the actual large language model is not. And so getting from, the entire life cycle of this ecosystem on chain is, in my view, critically important, especially for a decentralized ecosystem and for the growth and for, the first mover advantage. Because again, there's a lot of large language models that can code for you. But how many are running on a decentralized cloud computing network like internet computer ecosystem? And so let's understand a little bit more about the increased storage and what it's going to do for the IC ecosystem. And again, don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. And if you like these kind of videos, sometimes we do deep dives like we're doing today on individual cryptos and projects. And sometimes we just talk about the macro financial ecosystem to understand, is this a good time to invest? What should we invest in? And where we are in the market cycle. So if you want to help support, click the thumbs up button or click the join or subscribe plus down below to learn more about becoming a channel member here on the Cryptoviser podcast. Let's now listen to the senior software engineer at Dfinity talking about Internet Computer's milestone of subnet replication. Let's listen in.
Hi, this is Shur from the message routing team. I'm very excited to share the great news that we have bumped to 2 terabyte replica state. Next slide. So what does it mean? It means now each subnet can store 2 terabytes. So previously, the limit was 1 terabyte, so we doubled the state. It is another milestone for the IC to become a trusted, scalable protocol, which can host the world software. Yeah, we also saw demand from the users and the developers to have more state in a single subnet. And previously, we have done some foundational features, and we also have been present provide global IDs. For example, the new story layer enable us to bump to 1 terabytes, and also asynchronous checkpointing further improves the performance of checkpointing. So we
Now, it may be a little bit hard to understand, especially I have it on a faster speed, so sorry about that. But essentially, this slide is talking about the 2 terabyte replicated state, what, why, and how. We obviously know what it is, why. Obviously, they want to increase the capacity for developers, and the how, right? New storage layer and async checkpointing, performed performance testing with 2 terabyte state and resolved remaining blockers, and more optimizations are planned. Let's continue listening in.
feel it's a good timing to consider bump to 2 terabytes, and we also perform a lot of performance testing with the 2 terabyte state, and we find and resolve remaining blockers during testing. We also identify some optimizations that we can do in the future. Next slide. So what is the replica state and the capacity? So each node in a subnet stores a full copy of the subnet's replica state, and the capacity defines the total storage that all the canisters in that subnet can use. So with 47 subnets currently in IC, the total capacity increased to 94 terabytes. Oh, that's a lot. Next slide.
And basically, the way that you can figure this out is you just go to the Internet Computer ecosystem, go to the dashboard, and look at subnets. So there's 47 subnets, and obviously 47 subnets times 2 terabytes each would be 94 total terabytes. So that's how you get to the total capacity of the Internet Computer network. And keep in mind, this literally doubled in one update, and for the entire network. This is big. Because what we have seen over the last few months, and we've covered this on the channel, that's why it is very important that you guys hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video right here on the Cryptoviser podcast. But one of the things that we have covered is the fact that just a few months ago, the subnet total was, I think, 30 or 32 total subnets, and now we're at 47. And one of the reasons they did this was, I believe, to prepare the network for more usage, prepare the network for more compute capabilities, and jurisdiction-specific subnets. For instance, the EU has very specific data privacy laws and stuff like that. And so they would have to have a subnet specifically for that area. The United States, same thing. And so, some of it is great, and some of it was just kind of, I'm saying great to like expand the network and add new subnets and jurisdiction-specific subnets, so there's no compliance issues in those areas, but also just an expansion of the overall ecosystem and reorganization of the network. And we've seen that, and I've covered it over the past few months on this channel. And so that was all setting up for this, for increasing and doubling the capacity of these subnets. And by the way, I think this is the first upgrade of many, right? Because the more usage of the network, the more capacity the network needs to be able to compute and hold and store. And obviously, the more money the network makes, the more expansion we'll see. And then we'll probably see a doubling from here, from 94 total terabits to whatever double that is, 180 something. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Let's continue listening to the senior software engineer at Dfinity.
And how do we verify that we can support 2 terabytes? So we perform a lot of testing with heavy I/O workload on the 2 terabytes.
And by the way, we have seen the testing live on chain, right? Just a few weeks ago, from when I'm recording this video, when we were on the Internet Computer dashboard, you can see that the transaction per second throughput and bandwidth of the network currently, when I'm recording it, is 4,000. That's what the network is processing per second. This is significantly larger than where we were last year and puts Internet Computer in direct competition with Solana, which is the fastest blockchain. But now Internet Computer has proven during this testing which occurred earlier in 2025. You can see around the May timeframe. Massive testing. And we didn't know exactly what they were testing. Obviously, we assumed that a lot of it was AI capabilities and AI compute, but they probably were also testing the new subnet infrastructure and the higher storage capacity to make sure everything works properly before they roll it out onto the network. And so this is why it's important to look at some of these metrics on their dashboard on a regular basis so that you can get an idea when things may be getting ready to get rolled out. Now, whether this is going to impact the price of internet computer or not, that's a whole different discussion, right? Obviously, the technology and the fastest blockchain on the planet and the AI capabilities and the storage capabilities all improving over the course of time. This is obviously going to be better for the network. Hopefully gain more usage and more adoption of this technology. And that will obviously increase the usage of the network, therefore increasing the value of the network and hopefully the value of the crypto itself. And so that's why this is all very important to be following, to understand where the network is on a development perspective, what they're working on, and how quickly they're rolling it out. Because we have other ecosystems in crypto. They talk about, oh, well, we're going to roll this out next year. And then next year, oh, we're going to roll it out next year. And they just keep putting it off for years. Every other ecosystem is able to deploy these technologies. But these one or two protocols are like, oh, well, we just need a little bit more time. We need a little bit more time. It's like, no, you just never planned to release the product in the first place. One of the things that these newer blockchains like Internet Computer, even Solana, due to these other older legacy ecosystems, is it lights the fire under their ass to say, you need to get this together, because if you don't, you are going to be left behind. Not you, but like the network. And so Internet Computer is moving rapidly. Meanwhile, where's ASI Crypto, the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, which merged 3 AI blockchain projects together over a year and 3 months ago when I'm recording this video? We still have no product from them. Meanwhile, Internet Computer is over here doubling the storage capacity, increasing the subnet capacity, and launching AI capabilities on chain. And so where's the valuation going to flow? Where the users and the network operators and the developers are going, and they're not going to ASI. Everybody is pinpoint focused right now on Internet Computer. It seems that way, at least. Let's continue listening in.
Then we repeatedly override the existing data to create a lot of big state, to create a lot of I/O workload and under this 2 terabyte state. And we also test the sync. We queue one node temporarily and restart it to verify the node can still catch up with our node even if it has so large state. Yeah, next slide. Oops. Yeah, one challenge we see during test setup is we find that the conventional test node that we usually use will experience slow read-write performance under heavy workload. It also lack enough disk space to test 2 terabyte state. So we need we need some nodes that has comparable I/O performance compared to the production nodes. However, the existing way to set up such host is cumbersome. It requires many manual steps across the several hours of setup. So and we need 4 of them in the single subnet, which is more complex. Next slide.
And what you can see here is that they were testing, right? And stress testing the network. In the previous cycle, we talked about Cardano, right? With a stress test, because Cardano was like, oh, we're going to be launching smart contracts, which they did. And then they didn't actually, well, they launched the capability for it at the end of 2021, but then they didn't launch anything on Cardano. It was like, wait, hold on a second. Y'all were holding out on smart contract capabilities on the blockchain for years when every other blockchain had it. And then you launch it and you have no products to launch alongside to show that these smart contracts operate. I remember at the beginning of 2022, I posted a video and I said, guys, I'm out. We've had smart contracts for 4 months and Cardano hasn't launched 1 DEX. Within 1 week, 3 DEXs were launched. And I said, oh, they're playing freaking games here. Like, they are playing games. They're intentionally not rolling these things out. And one of the things that I said was Cardano needs to stress test the network, because one of my things was, why were they not launching these DEXs? Was Cardano not capable of the performance that you're seeing on Ethereum, on Solana, on all these other networks. And we didn't know because they refused to do a stress test. And then all these other Cardano, I guess, bears were saying, well, Cardano only does 1 or 2 transactions per second. And the whole network was like, no, we do. There's 1,000 transactions in the transaction. That's not. And then I was like, oh, that's why they're not stress testing the network, because the network can't handle it. And one of the things that got me really bullish earlier in the year with Internet Computer was they were stress testing the network. I mean, we saw the network able to handle 12,000 transactions per second, the fastest out of any blockchain ecosystem in the world, in the history of the world. That is, I mean, that's amazing. And so when I see the actual production, the actual testing, right? We saw all this going on, and I was like, nothing is going on the main net. So that means that they're stress testing on the back end. That is good, because you don't want to roll something out if it's not a real product. I mean, it's ridiculous. You ever go into, like, I don't know, a store that's just brand new, just opened, they have grand opening in the front, and you go in, there's nothing in there, or they don't have any processes ready. They don't even know how to use their cash register. It's like, wait, how do you open up a business without testing these things, like how to take money from the customer to buy something? It doesn't make sense. And so releasing products that have not been stress tested on the network before you release them is like, what are you doing that for? And so when I saw all of this activity, and this was not the only metric, I'm just using it because it's the most obvious, going to 12,000 transactions per second, I was like, oh, wow, Internet Computer is way more powerful than I think anybody fully understands. It's faster than, and it can process more transactions than Solana, which is the fastest blockchain on the planet. And so now Internet Computer is, and nobody knows about it still. It's like, what is going on? So they were testing. And as you can see, they're not just trying to roll out products or trying to hit deadlines. They're trying to create real products that can withstand the usage and performance and heavy load that you would see on a global, decentralized cloud computing network. And so this gives me confidence to know that they have been testing and they have been rolling it out. Very different. As I've said over and over and over, we need to look for the projects that are deploying technology, not the ones that are saying, oh, well, we're going to do it. We prompt ASI, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. Where's the AI product? In a year and a half, they haven't, 3 teams coming together couldn't create even just the bare basics of a technology. Which is like, well, what are they doing? Internet Computer is one organization. Now, granted, they've probably been doing things a little bit longer than the ASI Alliance teams. But either way, if Internet Computer can do it, these other teams can do it. Just the same thing in the previous cycle. If Solana can do it and Ethereum can do it, Cardano should be able to do it. And the fact that Cardano was not doing it until we were exiting the bull market into a bear market, they missed it. They missed it. And so the ASI, they're missing it this cycle. They're not. Where's their presentation that they're doubling the size of the capacity of the entire network? Where's ASI's transactions per second metric? Where's ASI's large language model that's coding programs and dApps? Where's ASI's app store? Nowhere to be seen. And maybe they're working on it behind the scenes. That is definitely possible. I don't want to take away from what those developers are working on. But we're not seeing any of it. And we're not even seeing it on the back end in the metrics. We saw over the year that Internet Computer was testing and that metrics were starting to increase rapidly. No other network is doing that. Let's continue listening into this senior software developer.
Yeah, so we did some work to make everything automatic, improve the setup through automation. Now you can simply run command ICT testnet, create this IO perf benchmark. So to submit up some nodes that has large disk capacity and has comparable IO performance as the production nodes, it enables smooth background testnet setup on performance host. And if you want to try it, talk to us. Yeah.
And this is another piece, right? Because they're not just saying we want to test it. They want everyone to test it. And to me, that is truly an open network, right? Not saying like open source necessarily, but open network meaning the developers, they want people to test it. They want you to try. They want you to be part of this growth of the ecosystem. And again, other ecosystems, they're just wait. We're going to release it. Don't worry. Just wait. Don't worry. We're not going to release it to you until it's coming just next year, next month, next week. And it's like nothing ever comes, right? We just keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And meanwhile, the technology is moving much faster than you being able to wait. So they're literally saying, if you want to try this and you want to help develop, talk to us, which is, I think, really, really good because they're inviting developers to come test it and work on it and see what they can test and stress test and set up and develop and deploy. Let's continue listening in.
Next slide. So through the test, we got some results. We identify and resolved the remaining blockers for pumping to 2 terabytes. For example, we found, given the large state, that the state hashing will take a long time. So we move parts of state hashing out of the critical path so we don't delay creating the checkpoint. We don't delay the catch-up package further. And we also identify some follow-up work that we need to prioritize for the sustained performance. For example, with large state, we'll be more careful about the merging strategy, and we also we'll implement a large set of testing improvements. Next slide. Yeah, the change has been rolled out to all subnet, including NS on this week. And we also have metrics and dashboard monitoring the state usage and performance. The follow-up work has been planned and is ongoing. Next slide. Yeah, and I want to take this opportunity to thank.
So that's basically it. Now, for me, I rarely show these type of videos, especially in a bull market, but I think that it's important to kind of take a step back from the price activity every once in a while to really understand the technology. And not just the technology, but the way that these projects are going about it, who the developers are, what they're working on. Are they excited about what they're deploying? Are they asking for that feedback? Are they monitoring the network and continually looking for improvements? And it seems to me like Internet Computer is doing all of that. Dfinity is doing all of that. And we're seeing the network metrics improve. And remember what I keep telling my viewers, everything is going to go back to the fundamentals at some point. Maybe it's not going to be in the bull market. Maybe it'll be in a bear market. But there are clearly eyes on Internet Computer's ecosystem and the growth of the ecosystem and the potential use cases for the ecosystem. We have banks watching what's going on. We have large governments like in where Dfinity is headquartered in Switzerland. We have developers and users all over the world. We have AI angel investor firms looking at this technology and capabilities. And so it's these little things that we're seeing happening where whether, Internet Computer, I don't think that the ecosystem is fully baked yet, right? It's not ready. It's not ready for full deployment. I mean, it may never be ready for full deployment. I mean, if you look at Ethereum is still developing. Solana is still developing. New technologies are being deployed and tested and worked on for those ecosystems as well. So I don't think that it's ever going to be fully 100% baked, but I think that there's still a lot that they're trying to get implemented. And all it's going to take, in my view, is one partnership, one collaboration with one major player in the AI, the high performance compute or cloud storage space. And we could see massive changes to this network in a very positive way. Now, I know there's a lot of concerns about like a company taking over the network and then it becomes not like an open network for everybody to be able to utilize and build on and grow. But I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be utilized for, back-end integration, just the same way that Bitcoin is not going to be used for every financial transaction. It will be used for some by some financial institutions, hedge funds, et cetera, and even probably banks and governments. But it's not going to be used for every single transaction, right? It's going to be used for specific transactions. And I think that at the beginning, especially with these AI capabilities, some of these companies will probably start testing dApp deployment, dApp development, website development and deployment as well. because this is being tested in other ecosystems as well. It's the large language model that can code for you is not specific to internet computer. But I think that the potential capabilities of this network being the only real cloud storage compute ecosystem that can also do other things as well. And it seems like they're trying to create Dfinity and the developers there are trying to create this whole ecosystem of technologies that you can use from finance to just regular programs that are built using an app store to actual like full on deployments of maybe a hotel booking application that is developed by the AI and then hosted and housed on Internet Computer's ecosystem. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But I think that what we have seen is a consistent growth of the network, a consistent deployment of technologies, and most importantly, that Internet Computer hits their targets for when they say they're going to do things. Again, a lot of other ecosystems out here are promising a lot and delivering almost nothing. Internet Computer, I think their vision has promised a lot. I mean, beyond what most people can even comprehend for a blockchain. I would say in terms of delivery, I think that they are above many other ecosystems like we talked about, ASI and some other ones out here. But I don't know that we're seeing the use case or the integration that we wanted to see this cycle. And again, I think that we're coming to the end of the bull market in 2025. And so what does that mean for Internet Computer? Well, I think that it means Internet Computer has been able to prove and show that the network can handle these things, that the network can enhance the capabilities through subnet growth, through the total storage capacity growth. I would imagine at some point in the future, the packets of information will be smaller on the Internet Computer. They'll be able to compress it down somehow to make it even more efficient. And we don't see this in other ecosystems. A lot of ecosystems are stagnant. Think about XRP in this cycle and Ripple, very stagnant, right? Regulatory clarity, the lawsuit was lifted, XRP pumped, interest potentially with ETFs, but what does Ripple do? What does XRP do? People are going to say cross-border payments, but who's using it? Where is it being used? What improvements have we seen in the last few years to increase or enhance the capabilities of the XRP network? Not really anything. Now, Ripple has increased their business, but that does not necessarily translate to XRP. We can talk about other ecosystems as well, but I think for the AI and compute ecosystems, Internet Computer is number one. And I think that Dfinity is stepping in and really kind of taking charge of making sure that this deployment and the network is ready for the next stage, whatever that may be. We've definitely been seeing growth in the ecosystem, but what are they growing for? Either they know something is coming, right? A partnership, people like an integration into, a big multi-global conglomerate, or they're just preparing so that they can sell it and say, we have a fully tested network that can handle this. We increase the capacity, we increase the node operations, we reorganize the network, and it's ready. Either way, it's very, very bullish for the network. Now, this doesn't mean we're going to see an immediate change to the price, which has been sitting in the $5 range for quite a while. But I think that the technology, and I think many of you would agree, is way more valued than under $3 billion, especially when you're looking at a lot of these other networks that don't do anything anywhere near what Internet Computer can do, don't have the bandwidth, the network capacity, or the development teams behind them. We have a lot of cryptos in the top 20, top 30 that have nothing, no usage, no product, no future. But they continue to maintain these very high disconnected market caps when Internet Computer is sitting here saying, we can compute, we can do AI, we can host applications, we're doubling our subnet storage, and so on and so forth. And nobody's paying attention. When others are fearful, you're greedy. When others are greedy, you're fearful. And so when we're looking at the sentiment around internet computer, besides y'all, because many of you are internet computer bulls, I get it. I'm an internet computer bull as well. Even though many of you think that I sold all my ICP and that I hate the ecosystem and that I never want to talk about it again, that's not true. I mean, I'm critical of the ecosystem when it needs to happen. But I think that that is the sign of a good investor, right? Questioning your investment. Is this still a good investment? Is this not a good investment? What are the good? What are the bad? And where's the future for this ecosystem? And for me, I think internet computers' future is very bright. And with that, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know your assessment of this expansion, of the capabilities of the subnets, of the storage, the fastest blockchain on the planet. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and crypto on.